Barry Eugene Wilmore, Captain, Navy. That was the last shuttle mission. I was the Capcom for that mission, meaning I'm the guy talking. Only pilots were the ascent and entry Capcoms, because you have to, in that environment, ascent and entry, especially ascent, you have to take care of bad situations expeditiously. And so someone that is trained to be in that seat really needs to be the guy communicating everything to you and giving you what you need to know. Because you've got the whole room of people in mission control. Only one person talks to the crew, the Capcom. That's a holdover from the Mercury, Gemini, Apollo days when we flew capsules. It's capsule communicator, Capcom for short. And so all that communication comes through one person. And on ascent and entry, it was always a pilot. So for the last two missions, the timing didn't work out for selection for me to be on those missions. But they asked me to be the Capcom. So I was the ascent entry Capcom for both of them. So 135, I was sitting in mission control talking to the crew on launch and on entry. So that's what comes to mind for me. But it was the last shuttle mission. Hard in certain respects because there's so much I think we could have done. There were political reasons to end the shuttle program, but there's so much we had learned since Columbia. And the shuttle was such a much safer. It's hard to fly a winged vehicle in space and do it safely. On launch, when you launch, you don't think about this, but there's certain places during launch, they call them black zones, where you can't survive. There's no ejection seat in the shuttle. So until the vehicle gets to a point where the shuttle can fly itself and return to a landing site, you can't survive if something happens. You have to ride certain failures until you get to a point where you can do something to survive. So there's several zones for a winged vehicle that are black where you die. Not so many black zones in a capsule because you got an apparatus that will pull the capsule off with rockets, an abort motor that'll pull the capsule off and get it to an altitude high enough where it can open the parachute safely before it hits the ground. So very few, the black zones are way minimized in the capsule over a winged vehicle. So the shuttle had some wonderful things, and we learned so much from Columbia, and it was such a safe vehicle to fly, and so much we could have done with the payload. People don't know this either, no reason they should. They said it was so expensive to launch payloads into orbit, $10,000 a pound of payload. Well, SpaceX is one supplying the space station a lot now. They're like $12,000 a pound when you think about how much they launch and how much we pay. And so part of the reasons was, there were various reasons for getting rid of the shuttle, but there's so much we could have done if we'd have continued to fly it. And we haven't flown U.S. astronauts from U.S. soil since 2011. It's 8 years ago. Last month. So it's a long time. But I'm training to, Chris Ferguson was the commander of the STS 135, the last shuttle mission, and he has been with Boeing for almost 8 years, helped develop their capsule, the Starliner, and it's supposed to launch maybe within 6 or 7 months. And he's the commander of it. He's a Boeing astronaut. I back him up. I'm training to back him and the other front seater up. In the second launch, I'm backing up them as well. And if I stay with NASA and all things being equal, and I stay healthy, then if I don't go on one of those first two, I would go probably on the third one. Who knows? Nothing's a given, but you never know.